Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. I haven't done one of these videos in a couple of weeks slash months. I think it's a really good time to do it just because we are ramping right up into big news season. Here's the thing, long story short, okay? Not every player, every Yu-Gi-Oh fan stays in the loop as far as where the news cycle is and what we're about to get. So that's the point of this video, to keep everybody who watches it in the loop on what to expect, what kind of cards, what products are getting announced, what new cards should be getting revealed over the next couple of, I would say 2-3 months is what I like to focus on here, because that's like the near future. But we'll also mention some stuff that could be a little bit down the line as well, that's not necessarily checked up just as yet. So anyway, let's get into it. We're going to go chronological order. I think the most important things, in my opinion, is the OCG reveals. Those are the most important things, because when OCG sets are getting revealed, completely new cards are getting revealed, and these sets a lot of the time are just like 100% new cards, especially core sets and some other stuff, but just so many new cards get revealed from OCG stuff, whereas TCG stuff is more about when are we getting the OCG stuff, what reprints. Not too many like TCG exclusive things are like super important. So yeah, let's start with the OCG stuff, and then we'll jump into the TCG side of things, and then I'll throw some little tidbits of things that haven't been announced at all yet, that's something to keep our eyes on. Alright, so getting off first thing, chronological order, Infinite Forbidden. This is the next core set that the OCG is getting revealed right now. It actually will be fully out in the OCG by the end of April. We're already at the start of April, so we're only like 3 weeks away at this point. And what's really exciting about this is not even half of the set has been revealed yet. I believe there's still over 40 cards that have not yet been revealed, and like 21 days to reveal them. So I actually thought we were going to get more stuff revealed this week. Since we haven't so far, I actually think there's a really good chance that next week is very news heavy, and the week after also could be pretty heavy as well on these reveals. So I expect some legacy support. I don't know. I guess there could still be a new archetype. I haven't looked at the set list super in depth, but I definitely expect a good amount of legacy support for archetypes that have been coming out recently, stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that for sure. But yeah, really exciting. 40 cards for this in the next 2.5 weeks, probably. A ton of stuff. Next up, we move to Duelist Pack Duelists of Brilliance. In the OCG, this is going to drop around May 25th. We don't even have it announced on when or if we're actually getting our version of this in the TCG. If it doesn't come in this, it's going to be imported in a side set, which I'm actually okay with, because these sets tend to make like the really chase stuff really expensive. So I'm actually okay if it gets printed in like a core set in the TCG version. Because that usually means that stuff can be way more affordable, but we will see on that. At this point, we've only had it, we revealed 6 of the 7 Trickstar cards, so there's still 1 card remaining. Really hoping that's a good one. And then we know that one of the other 2 archetypes is played by this guy, and it's like a rank 8 Chaos Dragon deck, I think. You know, fine. It's cool, right? Mizar, I guess is his name. I didn't follow this anime series very closely, but we know it's like going to be the rank 8 dragon support, basically. And then the other one is just up in the air. We just know it's going to be a light-based archetype, and we'll just have to see what they decide. That being said, since it's coming out in May, so we're like 7-ish weeks away on this one, I think in the next week or 2, we'll probably get the second archetype, like first 6 cards revealed. Then another week or 2 after that, we'll get like the final 6, or the first 6 cards for the third archetype. We'll know what the third archetype is. And then I think in that last 3-week span, it may be one a week, it may be one every couple days or something when we're like 2 weeks out. But we'll get the final card for each archetype. I tend to believe that these cards are going to be good, powerful cards from these sets, just because I think it makes sense from a business standpoint to really raise hype right before the set comes out by giving one more powerful card for each archetype that's getting support, just to give it one last big wave to get it in front of everybody's brain and be like, whoa, yeah, now I want to get it, kind of thing, and remind everybody that it's coming. So yeah, look out for that. Next up, Animation Chronicle. This is a fun set too. Animation Chronicle kind of flies under the radar. I think it's a little bit underestimated as a product, because it's basically turning like manga and anime cards into real life cards that have never been printed before. But like, it feels like every single time we get an Animation Chronicle, there's something really good in there. I think last year it had Bonfire, just a straight up new Rhoda. It had the Earthbound Immortal, or the new Earthbound Servant cards, which actually are a pretty cool engine. I've seen some rogue success in the TCG. There's always some, like, relevant, competitive stuff in these types of products. We also tend to get an archetype that's like once a year, once every Animation Chronicle, we tend to get one archetype that was in the anime that has never been printed before. So like a new archetype, some other legacy support, some random just generic cards like Bonfire, Transaction Rollback, I think was also in that last year. So there's always something spicy out of here. So keep an eye on it. Also, they tend to get like, I don't know, 30 new cards in this set, which is a good amount. And this one's coming June, late June. So, we're a good ways away on this one, 2.5 months away. But, 30 whole cards. So I would say they probably won't start reveals maybe for another month. But once that month comes up, we're going to be getting, some pretty regular reveals, I would think, for Animation Chronicle, which is pretty exciting. I think this is a cool set. And lastly, for the OCG stuff, you have Rage of the Abyss. This one's the furthest down the line. This is June 27th, so we're like 3.5 months away on this one. But keep in mind, as far as reveals go, they start reveals like 2 months out on core sets because there's so many cards they have to get revealed by the end of it, 80 whole cards. So we're going to get Infinite Forbidden in 3 weeks, and then probably a month after that-ish is when they're going to reveal the cover for this, which is going to also reveal at the same time usually the cover support for that set. This is, everybody's theorizing that based on the name, this is already going to be a set based on shark support. So, a handful of good shark cards hopefully, and that's cool. That's basically all we know, but I wouldn't expect that until probably late May is probably when that reveal is going to happen, and then from there they're going to trickle out support for that set as we go. So that's it for the OCG stuff. Really only 4 things of note, but they are pretty big types of sets, right? Core set, Duelist Pack, which is 21 new cards for 3 different archetypes. Animation Chronicle, which is going to have 20 to 30 new cards, and then you get back into a new core set. So once a month, we're getting like a decently sized product here, which is pretty exciting, I think. All right, let's get to the TCG side of things. There's going to be a lot more straight up new cards revealed here as far as news go, but this is still important specifically because this is going to come in a little hotter on us. As far as the OCG stuff goes, a lot of it tends to be down the line. You're like looking 3 months down the line. But for the TCG stuff, it's going to come up a little faster here. So we are 3 months behind the TCG more or less, which means we are getting this product, Legacy of Destruction, the core set they've had for 2.5 months, in like 3 weeks, end of April. So this is really cool. We basically know the whole base of this set, the 80 cards, but there's still 20 cards yet to be revealed what's going to be in here. There's probably going to be a couple of TCG exclusives. There's going to be a couple of imported cards that just, whether they were promos in the OCG or cards that came in products we never got in the TCG, they'll implement them here just to kind of trickle them in. And I think the biggest thing is we're going to get the second wave of the Ashened support. So Ashened is the TCG's most recent TCG exclusive archetype. The first wave is interesting. There's some interesting stuff. I've seen some of what it can start to do, but it doesn't feel like a totally cohesive archetype just yet. Konami has had a bad reputation the last couple of years of actually like executing on the second wave of TCG exclusive cards. We're getting 7 new cards. We basically know that at this point they just haven't executed that well and really made too many archetypes actually good out of those second wave. So I'm just hoping the second wave is decent and cool to make Ashen at least interesting. That's all we're hoping for there. And then, like I said, some random TCG exclusives we've never seen before, and some imports from some random sets probably as well to combine for 20 more cards. Then we get to some reprinting stuff, right? There's some pretty cool sets that are like more quality of life stuff for players. Like we're going to get 25th Anniversary Rarity Collection. There's going to be some cool chase cards in here, new versions of stuff, new printings, rarities, as well as, way better price for a lot of these cards. There's going to be a lot of like meta-relevant cards that become way more affordable here, which is really cool. But it's just a reprint set, so it's nothing too crazy as far as new cards go. So May 24th, late May, we're going to get this one. It's more of a, like I said, quality of life thing, but you should know that it's coming. We'll get that much more of that revealed when like a bunch of the content creators get a hold of this and open it up. As far as the Legacy of Destruction, I need to go back a little bit. I didn't say 3 weeks out from this about, so I would expect you know, maybe next week, as early as next week, maybe even the week after, all of the content creators will get a hold of this set. They'll open it on like the end of the week, and we'll actually get to see what all those missing cards for the deck or for the set are. Okay, next up, another really tiny thing. OTS Tournament Pack 5. All we know is like Exodia's head is going to be in here as an ultimate rare, which is a cool collector item. There'll probably also be some like relevant meta cards that get ultis and hopefully some good supers and commons as well that adds some cool new variations to cards. But nothing crazy here. It's just more important for like regular locals goers. All right, next up, battles. Oh, sorry. This one is June 12th, so early-ish in June. Nothing too crazy there. Next up, we move to Battles of Legend, Terminal Revenge. I think this one's really exciting. Now, we know most of what's in this set. I don't think there's going to be too much, like, new stuff that we don't already know. The big new stuff is going to be the terminal, the dual terminal support that the OCG got at the end of 2023. So support for Ritual Beast, support for Infernoid, support for Gen X, and support for Ice Barrier. Pretty solid stuff. I think all of those except for Gen X become like immediate, like legit rogue decks at the worst. Some of them may even be higher tiered than that. We'll have to see. But really exciting stuff. There's going to be other stuff imported. I think there's Sky Striker stuff that's going to end up in here as well. Blue Eyes, this guy, and other than that, there may be some other imported stuff. And then some good reprints as well. They tend to sprinkle in a couple of really nice reprints into the Battles of Legends sets as well. So that'll be exciting there. I'm really excited for that one. So this is late June as well, so coming right around the time the OCG is getting Animation Chronicle, but still an exciting set, in my opinion. Then we get to Infinite Forbidden. So basically the same exact thing we talked about Legacy of Destruction is, you know, we're going to know what all the OCG 80 cards are for this set, but as we get closer to it in about 3 months, we'll be talking about the same thing we're talking about now with Legacy of Destruction, which means we'll be talking about, okay, when the content creators get a hold of this set, we're going to find out what those last 20 cards are, except in this one, it'll be a brand new TCG exclusive archetype rather than a second wave of one that's already been started in the set prior. So that'll be exciting in its own right, but we're a ways away. This one is not until late July, so 3 months. 3.5 months. And the last one here is 25th Anniversary Tins. We basically don't know much about this set at all other than like some of the core sets that this set is going to draw a lot of its reprints from. There's some exciting ones in there because there's definitely some expensive stuff in some of these sets that a lot of players will be excited to be able to get much more affordable versions of certain cards. So it's cool, but it's usually almost an all brand new card set. There may be like 3 or 4 promo cards in here. That's happened before. Other than that, though, these should all be reprints, other than a couple of maybe good promos, but they really haven't had great promos since Nib, Shifter, and Dark Ruler no more. So we'll keep an eye on that. The last thing I want to touch on here, as far as like key things that have not been revealed at all yet, we have not gotten a structure deck this calendar year. We're already 4 months in. We actually haven't even gotten a structure deck announced at this point. That's a little weird because usually at this point in the year, we would have at least had the first structure deck announced. That would be coming around June time. But because we're only 2 months out, they tend to announce 3-ish months early. So since it hasn't been announced yet, I'm almost assuming we are just not getting 2 structure decks this year. We may just be getting a structure deck R at the end of the year. They've been chugging along on this. They've been doing 1 a year of the structure deck Rs. Last year was the Fire King one. I really think this year has a really good chance of it being an Atlantean one because they're already tied together lore-wise, Atlanteans and Fire Kings. As well as the fact that they kind of skipped Atlanteans. Atlanteans actually should have come before Fire Kings, but since last year was the year of fire for Konami, they may have just wanted to skip that one to the front of the line just to make sure it fit with what they were doing, you know, marketing-wise. And so they might come back to Atlanteans this year. But no announcement yet. That's just something I think could get announced in the next couple weeks because we usually get the structure deck R in like December, which means I think Konami would announce the OCG one pretty soon, like maybe by June. If by the end of June it's not at least announced for the OCG, I'd start sweating on it. But we do have 2 months until that, so I think in the next 2 months we'll get that announced, and it would be exciting just to at least know where we are with that. Cause structure decks are pretty good products, especially when they make them pretty competitively decent. just as 8 whole cards of support. They can do so much with that many cards for one archetype and completely fix strategies entirely, and I hope that's what we see here. But yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to worry about for the next 3-ish months, I would say. We're in a really exciting time. We have a lot of cards coming very, very quickly, and I'm just excited to see where we are on that stuff. So let me know in the comment section down below what you're most excited for, what you're going to be most honed in on set-wise, product-wise, support-wise, that you're most excited to see. I'd love to hear where you guys land on that stuff and what you look out for mostly as a player. But I'm out of here for today. Hopefully this helped you stay a little bit more in the loop on the release of news cycle for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it is a little bit tough and a lot to hold on to and stay on track with. But that's what I'm here for. So if you want to see news updates as stuff drops, subscribe to the channel, because I make videos basically as soon as anything gets revealed as far as new cards and that kind of thing goes, as well as some other stuff as well. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.